Okay, so I've got the notes here open for exercise 5, making the text style, or making a bunch of textiles and some text. And then here is the finished product. So essentially drawing lots of different text items and getting them to work at a certain scale. And so notice here the scale is 1 to 20. And when you're making text, you have to know your scale before you can effectively work with it. And that's really the thing that's a bit counterintuitive at first. Once you get used to it, you'll see there's a very good reason for this. And actually, because we've got a little bit of time, I will show you an example of some more detailed drawings. So here you can see we've got some details that are 1 to 20. I've got a section showing the same area that's at 1 to 100. And when you see these two different drawings showing the same thing but at different scales, it can make it clear that you often, or not often, nearly always want different groups of text. So it can seem a bit strange at first, the fact that you're setting the scale before you can even make your text. Once you realise that you do need different text in different scales, then it can make it clearer, and you'll often be reusing the lines. So if you look at this, the lines that I'm showing here are the same as what's shown in the detail, but then there's just more detailed text to explain things more clearly on that detail.
So this is just another 3D vector setup?
That's right. It's the same thing that we're looking at. If I show you back in model, we can see it all. So notice how we've got the small text there, which is for the detail, and then the big text, which is from the section at 1 to 100.
So you changed the scale of the size of the font?
That's right. That's right. That's the way you can do it now, using the scale option here. That's with the annotative option, which I'm going to show you more and more as we go through these different exercises. But in the notes here, it's showing you the old way, and it's still a really helpful thing for you to go through and do it like that. And so the first part, setting the style and the font, is pretty easy. I'll show you that in a second. And then you've got the height. And so it tells you to do the height as you go, which is okay. So I'll show you that method. Now here I'm going to make a new file, and I'm not going to use the template I used before, so that because I don't want to have any text styles set up. I just want to start from scratch. So I'm going to go to New and use CAD ISO. So if you haven't made your own template, remember, always use CAD ISO. Okay, so they tell you the shortcut in the notes for text style, which is ST. But again, you can always go to the panel here and click on the button next to your list of text styles, and that does the same thing. So I've been showing you a little bit in the earlier exercises. You can make a text style with a height predefined, which will help you a lot. But I'm just going to do it the way it says to in the notes here, and put in 0 for the height, and just use the font name here. So I can say style name hand letter. So I'll just bring that across so you can see it. So style, I'm going to click new, call it hand letter, and use good old City Blueprint, which is a nice font. Right, there it is. Yep. And there, exactly, leave the height at 0. So I'll go through and make the other styles. Let's move this over a bit so I can see. So again, still can't see it all. Okay, so again, new and overscore. And then don't know why they're not doing that with the font, but oh yeah, so you're going to do that in the text option, so that's fine, and that one's going to be Arial. You don't really need a font for a text style if you're not going to put it in, but that's all right, we'll do it like this. And then upside down. And again, that one's Arial, tick upside down. And then vertical. And just something different. Alright, now here you can't use Arial, so you need to change the font to one of the SHX files, like Romand, and then you can tick vertical. So really all you're doing there is making a style so you can choose different fonts without having to come back into here. And then there's another trick. When you're making text, it's a good idea to use single line text first. If you go straight to multi-line text, so under annotate here, when you click on the arrow under text, you've got these two options, single line and multi-line. So the shortcut to single line text is actually DT, which means dynamic text, because years and years ago it was the brand new dynamic way of making text. Now it's a bit of an old-fashioned looking command, but I can remember really well about 15 years ago when it first came in, and it was amazing to be able to have text show up on the screen as you typed it. So that was a big fancy new feature, and it was called dynamic text. So the shortcut still is DT, so that's why it says here type in DT somewhere. Well, yeah, there we are. Yep, DT, there we are. Okay, so that will bring up single line text. Okay, so I'll just do that, DT, enter, and then with single line text, you need to give a start point, and if you haven't specified a height, it'll ask you for one. And so we've left the height at 0, which means it will ask us for a height, and here, they'll make it 100. So, anyone want to be brave and guess what size that would print out? Not far off. What scale are we printing? Not for this one? Remember we're doing 1 to 20 exactly. So to work it out, it's simply that height, 100, divided by your scale, which is 20. So it'll be 5. And so that's how you work out your text height manually, without letting the program do it for you. And so we know when it prints out, as long as we're printing at 1 to 20, if we make it 100 mil, it will print out 5 mil high. Okay, so here again 100 is what I'm going to type, and then you've got to remember with multi-line text, it will ask you for an angle, and I'm going to type in 0 so that it obviously goes at 0 degrees, and then when I'm typing, because I'm using vertical, it will be obviously the vertical text, so I'll just see which one needs to be vertical, so they're vertical style. So I can go back, okay, and so with single line text, to finish it, you need to press enter and then enter again. And that one actually could have been, so with vertical text, it'll default to 90 degrees, so I can just go into properties afterwards if it flips to the other angle. And so by selecting anything, you can right click and go to properties, and then I can just change that one to 0. And I'm sure it gives you some steps in there. You can always leave it on 270, which is the default when you're drawing vertical text anyway. But it doesn't hurt to look at it in properties. And so that's for vertical text. Vertical text is a bit unusual anyway. But then for the other styles, let's see, I just don't remember which way it's saying to change the style here. Yeah, so you're doing it within the text command. So again, DT. And then again, when it's asking you to choose a start point, you've also got the option there to choose either justify or style. So you can type S, which is again what it says to do in the notes. And then you need to know the names of your styles. And this is again going back to the old days of AutoCAD when everything was typed into the command line. So hand letter, I need to type exactly. And then you'll know if it's worked because it will tell you if it doesn't like it. And so then again, it'll ask me to choose a start point. And so here, this was typed with the hand style, blah, blah, blah. And the city blueprint, 100mm high centered. So I also want that to be centered. And so use the justify option for that. So again, you can either type J or just choose justify on the command line. And you have all these different options. So left, center, right, align, middle. And for architectural and interiors drawings, you do need lots of different justification options. So whether it's centered top left, bottom center, middle center, and so on. And so this one is, well, any of the center options will do. Which one does it say? Yep, center, C for center. So I'm just going to choose my center point. And then again, because I've left 0 as the height in the style, I need to type in 100 and enter. And then for the angle, again this time 0 to set it back to 0, even though it was before. Need to set it back again. And then type in And if you have trouble with your hand lettering, a lot of people do, it's a really good font to trace over to get your lettering a bit better. So it gives nice architectural text. Thanks. Font. Okay, so that's all with single line text. You also, of course, have multi-line text. So I'll just quickly show you one of these, and that'll be plenty for today. So with that, you click 2 points to make a rectangle. And notice how with it, you get the option to change your text style midstream. So you can just choose it from a drop-down list here. You don't need to type it in or use the style option or anything like that to change it. And then, so I don't have many to choose from, unfortunately. I'll just go back to standard. Then also notice it's put the height in. And that's that little trick I was showing you before. So by starting with single line text, it's picked up the height that I used previously with that command. If I'd just gone straight to using multi-line text, just one of those little AutoCAD things, it'll start with 0 there, and it kind of goes a bit crazy when you put in the first text box with multi-line. The size just won't look right. Even though it does work, it just won't look right on the screen at first. So that's just a little thing, and otherwise you should be able to use the multi-line text option whenever you want to, and then you also have the justification options here as well. So center is a good one, and so notice with this one you don't need to press enter twice to finish it. Pressing enter will move down to the next line and then keep doing it after that. So it's a bit different to single line text. It does whole paragraphs of text, and that's good for general notes. So if you need space between your text, you can do that easily. And so to finish it, you just click to one side and it should stay there. So give that a go. Don't worry if it doesn't all work perfectly. Just try and get some text to work, and we'll go on with that next week, and look at things like control characters or special characters to get these special symbols, and doing backwards and or upside down text and overscores and underscores and things like that.